Let me control Shift O. Let me get on the light sport. Here we go. Hold on. I got this. Aquí en el.
Confidence.
Aquí en el cima izquierda. Llegando para. Hold on. Infernales. Esta. Terran. No, I don't know. That's Crown.
Chile.
Terran. Chile. Esta Crown. Yeah, perfect.
That was painful. That was oh god. Y aquí en la sección inferior de la mapa Curious Minds E tenemos el VTuber himself, el peruano, representando Exeditus Ignatz. Él es Smile. Sonrisa, mate. Smile.
Él está haciendo SCV.
Ajá.
Cima izquierda. Él está haciendo SCV.
Stop. just stop. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. You tried.
I'm trying to bring the spirit. I'm doing my best. Okay? I'm trying hard. Detena? Does that stop?
What?
Detena?
Detain?
Detener.
Detenar. Yeah. That's like an official stop. That's like you know.
Has the language of Spain officially stopped me to stop? The language of Spain. Spanish has officially stopped me from talking.
Shaking my head, right? Shaking my head. Right, here we are getting into this TvT. So far, no major divergences. The Scatter SCV was sniped there by Crown, so he's able to reclaim control of his side of the map. Just waiting for the other Reaper. And who shoots first?
Woo. I'll tell you, lads, the Reaper that's already on the high ground. The high ground does claim the first shots. High ground is Han. Bow is Greedo, and we have the command centers coming for both players.
Ooh, that we do. CCs are thrown down. And again, from what I can tell, no major divergences when it comes to the builds, not yet anyway. But we do see that now we have two Reapers. The Hellion is not too far behind, and we do see that Smile is going to try and succeed in getting into the main base.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to do much with the Hellion popping. He might actually catch the Hellion. His Reaper's a bit out of position, and he does get it, and he just needs to leave now. Really good mine there, but he loses a Reaper too. Like, who won with this?
I mean, sniping the first Hellion like that is huge, I would say, especially because, of course, Smile is working on his own. Cyclone as well behind this, playing it a little bit safe. You know, Cyclone is a bit of a jack of all trades in case there was like Banshee coming across the map or a drop or anything like that. But oh, he even gets in again. Oh no, the Widow Mine!
Oh, wow. The Widow meme isn't what a meme, but we see yeah, Crown, even though he lost his Hellion, he's got 3 Reapers. He's got a bit of a Reaper advantage. There's no Reapers for Smile, actually. And that's a pretty fast third gas for both players. I guess it's standard, but especially for Smile, it's almost finished.
Yeah, prioritizing that gas that little bit more. But now that Crown has completely cleaned up all the Reapers on the map, now he's free to move out across the map. He's the one with the map control. Can they get too much damage done? We'll see. Like, this Reaper cliff is already being patrolled. We have a Hellion, we have some Marines, we have a Cyclone that can rotate over as well. Like,
Yeah, take some damage and back off, but he does get some scouting information, notices a Reaper and some Hellions. One thing I didn't notice, that Reaper actually damaged every Hellion jumping up. So every Reaper, that's pretty pog. Well positioned there. Meanwhile, Cyclone at the front, and it looks like we're just going to go into a pretty defensive posture here for Smile, and even though there's some Reapers on the map, it's also looking quite, third base for Crown as well, so nothing too wild off 2 bases. Like, we're just going to see probably a bit of a macro game.
Yeah, I also just realized something. Chase, I think this is the very first TvT that we've ever casted together.
Was there one earlier today?
No.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, like a period. Like in Sparkling Tuna Cups and stuff, usually we have like a couple of Terran players, like your Bjorn or your Keen or something, but very rarely do they ever face each other. So yeah, we just I think this is the first for us.
Isn't that cute? Oh, what a scan though! Wow.
Wow.
Run our first TvT after 50 PvPs. Not painting a narrative here. 50 pro PvPs, by the way. But he's being very Crown's being very proactive with this Widow Mine, hasn't he? He's actually doing great.
Oh, bait it,
I like his position too.
Bait it, bait it, bait it. He wants to bait it. He wants to bait it. He wants to bait it. Ah!
Not gonna work. No. That's well played by Smile, actually. I was gonna say I like this position because if the Cyclone locks on, he just jump up to the high ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. The Cyclone just kills both the Reapers.
Yes.
Oh, the Marine's gonna go off on it.
They're just gonna get baited out. Yeah, nicely done here by Smiley. Cleans up the Widow Mine in the end. Some just cheeky engagements here in the middle of the map. Are they very meaningful? Not really, but but back at home, CC is finally done here for Crown. His was a little bit faster. Orbital actually about to finish up as well. That's how far ahead he was. Damn.
Yeah, and for anyone in the chat wondering why he sacrificed a Marine to kill that Widow Mine, it's just because at this stage in the game, in a mirror matchup, every kind of scan, every kind of mule comes into play. All these 3 Marines, I think they're a bit too risky out in the map here, like, it's going to save the Reaper either, but that's why he sacked the Marine. It's actually easy. He could have waited for the Raven to come out, but then he would have, you know, risked it running away. We see 2 scans coming down, wow, from Smile, and he's just kind of, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm not a TvT expert, but this Raven tank army is normally decent defensively, but there's not really any Vikings for either player.
Yeah.
Actually, they're both making back number.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, when it comes to, like, the broad stroke of things, like, both players are kind of doing similar things, right? They both opened up with their 3 Ravens, they're both going into their Vikings, and they're both slowly taking their 3rd bases, but it does feel like Crown is just that little bit crisper with his build. Like, he's even, like, winning these small engagements here and there, and his 3rd base was faster, so he is eking out these small advantages, but, oh, I only just now realized when I saw both armories, it's mech.
It is mech. Let's go.
Oh,
and one small thing, like you mentioned that Crown's build feels a little bit more crisp, and I'd agree with you. I'd say also the fact that he kind of skipped he didn't skip the Cyclone, but he delayed it. He got the Widow Mine first instead of the and that probably allowed him to kind of what's the word? Direct more resources towards his macro, but I'd say it's only a minor thing, and I think the biggest thing that we kind of noticed is the mech from Smile. As he said, he likes his bow, he likes his mech. So,
yeah.
How do you think TvT mech will go on this map in particular? 'Cause it's quite open, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, I feel like a major point of interest is going to be this 3rd base. Like, Crown is going to be so mobile, and it's going to be on him to try and penetrate the armor, penetrate the defenses of Smile. He's trying to set himself up. Funnily enough, it's the bio player who already has their sensor tower and is already set up defensively. But that's also why that scan was so important. Crown confirmed that it was going to be mech, and now he's gonna make something happen. Not before his upgrades though. 1-1 just finished up, Stim about to finish up as well. Has to wait for all of them to kick in before he can really get much done.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say so far Crown has also been a little more proactive this game. I guess he could afford to be after he sniped the first couple of Reapers, but actually right now Smile's being very proactive with these Marines. Spot Marines literally everywhere, but Crown's gonna move out and he's gonna get spotted pretty soon actually, and with the 2 sensor towers for Smile, he's gonna be able to position effectively enough to deal with this, I think.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, Smile sees everything, and it's so important because the mech army is that much slower, so he needs that much more of a heads up to be able to reposition his army, and that's exactly what he does. He is here in position at his 4th base. Crown doesn't find a way in, not yet, but he does have some medevacs mixed in here, so he can always go for a drop if ever he sees an opportunity. Meanwhile, who sieges first? Oh, the disables! Oh!
Yeah, both players throwing down turrets as well to tank, and there's a decent amount of Marines, good splits here for Crown, and I think that it's going to be a bit of a reset for both players, but we see the Viking count for Smile is just so much higher, and he's going to be forced to go home, Crown, because he cannot deal with that many Vikings without any of his own.
Yeah, exactly. Funnily enough, it's the bio player who actually has the tank lead right now. But as we saw, it's all about the battle in the skies. It did seem like Smile was a little bit more proactive when it came to controlling his Ravens. He was the first to throw down the auto turrets. He threw down the anti-armor missile as well. And yeah, Crown just completely lost that air superiority. So you just can't do anything without that.
Yeah, that's right. And we see, despite kind of not taking the greatest trade there, good little catch on the Hellions here. Crown's being very proactive with his tanks. He's taking a forward siege at the top. He's sending units at the bottom to harass, and this is all just to kind of soft contain his opponent.
Yeah.
Because we saw in an earlier series, we saw in the PvT that the moment that tanks move out and siege just outside your base without you preventing them, you're gonna have a bad time. And we see here that Crown is being very proactive. He's keeping tabs on his opponent. He's holding the choke points, and he's playing this quite well. But Smile's just content to sit back and just kind of, mac her up.
Yeah.
Dominant mech force.
That's always the scary thing, right? Like right now, it does seem like Crown is, he's doing everything that he needs to do, but at the same time, he hasn't dealt any economic damage. And sure, like Smile, he's a little bit behind in that respect, but it's like so instead he wins the race. He's like turtling apart. Here we go. The line of sensor towers, the missile turrets are being thrown down left and right. He's still pumping out nothing but Vikings. Like it's gonna be so difficult to break in, and at some point, like Smile will max out, and Crown has to try and slow him down before that happens.
Yeah, and actually, if we look at Curious Minds, it's not got the most bases on this map. Actually, I'm just wondering where it looks like Smile wants to take the top right base, which is where he's kind of expanding to. But once he takes that base, it's going to be hard to push forward. Hellions coming in, going to get a lot of SCVs, one more volley maybe, not quite. But on the same kind of like string, right, there's not many that basis for the bio, and the bio player normally wants to out expand hard, so
yeah.
Expect Smile to want to take the base to the top right and then secure the base in the bottom and just kind of split the map, just play trade cost effective with this game.
Exactly, that's what I'm worried about as well. At the same time, despite Mech being the slower army, these Hellions are being so aggressive here and forcing a lot of lost mine time. Almost gets the SCVs, almost only gets a single volley, but at the same time, the main army is just breaking on forward. The tanks are unsieged! Papi, they're unsieged!
Tanks are on siege, and there's not a lot to contest these Vikings, but there's nothing really on the ground here, and this is the backbone being broken, these tanks being taken out. Vikings landing top of the tanks to help out, and he might actually be able to clean this up right, however.
Wow, the landed Vikings are just barely enough. It goes to show Vikings aren't just good in the air, but they're also good on the ground as well. And I thought that was the moment. I thought Crown was finally going to be able to break through. We were wrong, mate. Like, Vikings are too good.
Yeah, it's actually wild. I did not expect him to win there, and we see he was actually transitioning to Liberators, so he wanted to, start pushing himself using those units. But we see Crown just back here, grabs the lid, he's going to push in, and I don't think he's going to be able to push too hard, but he's committing late.
Oh my god, forces the boys off the line. Reinforcements coming in as well. What's important is that right now the Vikings are not landed. They're not protecting these tanks.
Oh. Yeah, and the Vikings, they land now to provide a bit of a meat zone, and they are going to be able to help out, but that's a lot of Vikings cleared out. And his opponent's just making bio units, so I feel like that trade, even though Crown is down a bit in supply and he's maybe a little bit behind economically where he'd want to be, I feel like that's a decent trade because he reset the Viking count.
Yeah, exactly. That was not a bad trade whatsoever. He even forced the workers off the line. He even was able to kill a couple of them. Yep, 10 SCVs did fall. So it wasn't a bad trade, but I feel like he needs to just keep the aggression up. As we see, more bases are being taken here. We have kind of an almost equal base count on both sides, and 3 Liberators are being produced at a time. Oh my.
Yeah. Oh, and this top base is going to get scouted by Crown with his Marine, actually. That's pretty cute too. But, look at all the slots for the SCVs in the command center because he's got the building armor upgrade.
I didn't even realize. Jesus Christ.
I agree. He needs to be relentless here. He can't just sit back. I guess he saw an opportunity. This Hellion are going to get cleaned up. He saw an opportunity after taking out so many tanks and wanted to kind of push it, but now Smile's kind of stabilized. But map control does go to Crown, and he'd probably want to add a couple extra SCVs and just stream out units because this is the point of the game where the easy to take bases have all been taken for Smile, and he's gonna take a hard time trying to expand again.
Exactly, and Crown even leaves a spotter marine here towards the top right. He knows how desperate or how difficult it will be for Smile to expand, and behind this, Crown is just taking more bases, more orbitals are being thrown down left and right as well for scans, to eventually take these fringe bases. And these Hellion run-bys, like lately, they really haven't been paying for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the army positioning of Crown, he's literally got units everywhere. He's holding the chokes around his bases. These Hellions, even though normally they're blue flame Hellions and normally trade fantastically, they're not really getting much done at all. But I guess the good thing for Smile is it's a low committal. It's just kind of a mineral only unit. He's just gonna throw them away anyway because they're not too great earlier on. Good to liberate out denying mining here, but we have now Thors coming into the mix now, right? What does this mean?
Oh, interesting. So I guess Thors are going to be Crown's way to regain control of the skies, because if you've noticed, after that very first fight, he never really went back into Viking production. He just gave it up. He's like, you have too many Vikings, I'm not even going to try to gain that air superiority, and instead he's going to be focusing on that the anti-ground, I should say, with those Thors. So it's kind of a great addition. We'll see if it's going to be enough, because oh my god, there's still so much in the sky.
Oh yeah, and we see here now trying to take this bottom base Smile is, and it's going to get denied. He's actually trying to take the top right at the same time, but there's a spotter marine going to deny it. So cute moves here by Smile, but even cuter by Crown. And I think these libs, without the air control, without the Thors, he's going to be forced to back off here. But he's kind of done his job, right? He's denied this base even longer.
Yeah, denied the base, denied some mining here at the fish base as well. Another Liberator. Like, Smile has been so annoying with all these Liberators consistently heading over here. At the same time, shout out to this one Marine. It's forcing the base back. Let's go.
Actually, this is the biggest Chad Marine, man. But oh, and here we go. This is the kind of the moment to jump, and I'm not sure if he's got enough bio. He's got bio in the middle of the map too, but this is going to get cleaned up quite easily. And yeah, not the greatest for Crown. He needs to have all these units home when he wants to jump on exposed tank line like this.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I didn't recognize how quickly these Vikings transform, by the way, with the upgrade. It's absolutely disgusting. They just dropped hard on those tanks. Meanwhile, Crown is going to try and catch Smile out of position. Does catch 2 tanks for free. Does siege up, but again, can he deal with this? Can the Thor dish out enough damage? No, he cannot.
GG.
GG.
Oh wow. And then you saw, even though Smile was kind of out of position on one side, he had tanks on the other side, and he had tanks at the third base, and he was just, Crown couldn't break it. So, very, very patient play, very well played to Smile there. But Crown, I feel like, even though he was very proactive with his bio, he didn't really have a game plan to kind of follow through. He was just kind of hoping to jump on the mech army, and it just didn't happen at the end.
I think that I think that Smile played the way that Ashubro hates Terran players play, where I don't know if you noticed, I don't think Smile ever, outside of like a couple of units here and there in the early game, I don't think he ever moved out across the map. He never like pushed, he never attacked. He was just like, come at me, bro, and he just like defended at home, got more tanks, got more Vikings, got more missile towers, and he was just a wall that had to be broken, because if it wasn't, then he'd get maxed out on a 200 mech army and just walk over you, right? And that's such like an intimidating like sight to behold as a player. Like it can be soul crushing as well, because it's like you have to do everything you can to be active, and your opponent's just standing there, just deflecting you left and right. Like, yeah,
it definitely is. And we say, he was doing a lot of good things. He was expanding. He was putting pressure on, and it's just that it just wasn't really enough. And we kind of saw that despite doing all these great things, sometimes it does feel bad when your opponent's just sitting there, but they have their army is designed to sit there, you know? So it kind of makes sense that the bio player could feel like they're doing a bit more than their opponent, but Bao, because he's playing that defensive kind of angle in so many cases with siege tanks, defensive siege tanks and air control normally always overcomes. So I wonder if Smile's gonna stick to the same idea on this map, which is a lot kind of more bases. I don't know if that's better for mech or for bio. It's also a bit choky. I think on 2000 atmospheres, which will be our next map, the first few bases are very choky, which will be good for mech, but later on you need to really push away. And the problem with mech is that when you go in the mid game, when you need to expand more out, you spread your army more and more thin, and the bio player can jump on top. So curious to see how this game will go.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm curious as well. Like we were even talking about it as the game was progressing about how there just aren't that many bases on Curious Minds. It's difficult to get that economic advantage as the bio player. So yeah. As you said, Crown may have an easier time, but at the same time, I have to say that Smile doesn't have to play mech. He's not a one-trick pony. It may be like what he enjoys doing, but he can always switch things up.
That's right. Yeah, and that's the thing with being flexible too. You can kind of choose how your opponent will play based off of your own kind of choices. Like if you go like obviously being 2 Stargate, Void Ray forces Zerg, Mech forces the bio player, or you can also go for Mech as well if Crown feels comfortable. So, we will have to see how quickly he scouts what his opponent is doing and how he'll respond to it as well, or if he just takes the initiative and goes mech himself.
Yeah, or if we just see some cheese in the middle of the map. That's
Oh, true. I forgot about that. But yeah, here we go, like spawning in the bottom left position. It is our Terran player from Chile, I believe, playing for Team Infernales. Give it up for Crown.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Peruvian Terran player representing Exeritus Ignat and currently leading this series 1-0. It's the VTuber fan himself. It is Smile. Just smile.
That's Snuffy that he's been talking about.
I don't know who Snuffy is. I don't know what Snuffy is. I don't know if this is Snuffy. I got no idea. But Smile,
I don't know
what I do know is Smile has problems, mate.
Oh God. Oh man. I don't know if Snuffy's the first Reaper or Snuffy's the Cyclone, but we'll see. Meanwhile,
whichever has bigger milkers, mate.
This is it's always funny when you see players this high level and they just got some random you'll see that's like Jim with his macaco.
The ape.
The ape, yeah, and you see some Taiwanese players do it as well, and then you see on the other side this Crown has this really scary looking column thing. And, but yeah.
I mean, shout out to Crown. This is actually the Infernales Esports logo, so this makes sense. This is he's repping his team as opposed to someone shaking my head. But I've spoken about this
cyber waifu.
Yeah, shit. But fun fact, I've spoken to Oreo about this before, and I don't know if you've noticed it because I don't think we've casted Team NV players before. But the NV clan tag on Korea, they alternate between waifus.
Yeah, I noticed that. Weebs, man.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't.
Shaking my head, creator. I'm pretty sure it's creator, by the way. I don't know for certain. I don't know if I want to say it's creator. I know he's a connoisseur of anime.
I think we saw Björn or Keen or someone with it, I think.
Yeah.
When they jumped over the Korea server, but
It was Nightmare.
Oh, Nightmare. It'd be Nightmare, that's true, yeah. Meanwhile, reminder for the people watching, GSL is on tonight, so keep your eyes peeled, or on tomorrow morning if you, I don't know if you're on the other side of the world, but...
Less than 24 hours.
Looking forward to that. Indeed, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Very global way, but Reaper's light in the main.
Yeah, Reapers do sneak into the main base, are going to get one building SCV, but with the help of the Hellion, it looks like Crown should be able to push all this way. Oh, no. Should be able to focus down.
Get this I think with those extra Reapers, yeah, he's going to get taken out light.
Oh my god. The Reaper production is not stopping, mate.
Oh wow. And it's a Reactor Reaper. Do you reckon seeing those two Reapers kind of tipped him off to something, however?
It's hard to say because if you remember in game 1, Crown also went 3 Reaper, right? And he stopped at 3. So you could argue that this 3rd Reaper is faster than it should be, so maybe that does tip him off. I mean, he's getting a Cyclone defensively anyway, so like he is pretty well fortified and set up. But we'll see how good the target fire and the positioning is here for Crown.
Oh, never mind. There's an SCV in the main of Smile that hadn't moved in like 35 seconds. I was getting triggered.
Leave him alone, mate. Leave him alone. Oh my god. Here we go, Crown. He's going into the natural base. There's nothing here though, and oh god, is the wall going to be wall?
And it's just because it's not because there's nothing here. He actively pulled SCVs from the natural to the mains. That was a preemptive move by Smile. Very smart actually. And I think this is a very hard-hitting kind of mobile force for Crown, but no damage really done so far.
Yeah, exactly.
And Nick come with the tank to, yeah.
Exactly, just some lost mining time. That's really all that was accomplished despite all the investment into all of these Reapers. Now Smile, he's free to transfer back down to the natural base. And not just that, he defended, and now it's time for him to counterattack.
That's right, a Liberator Cyclone not yet finished for Crown, and there's nothing else really here. He's going to go at the very least deny mining time, get a few workers possibly, and there's nothing really to deal with this until his Cyclone pops.
Oh god, exactly. 2 Marines are going to come out, but Marines can't get in range of this at all. Liberator, good unit. At the same time though, Crown, he's not going to take this laying down. He is going for a drop into the main.
And he does. His Marine's trying to get a better angle on this Liberator. I don't know if they can touch it, but at the moment, the main stuff, there's going to be a tank actually being dropped in the main light, and I'm not sure, what does this turn? It turns the offensive dynamic into a defensive one.
Yeah, exactly. And if these tanks reposition, then Crown dives in with his Reapers. That is the plan anyway. Here we go, Reapers. They actually slip in.
Oh wow, he's going to get into, and that's going to add extra firepower to this push. There's so much mining time being lost. I'd like to see Smile send some of his workers to the natural actually. Liberator going to finally get taken out too, but he's going to jump in.
Oh, the tank gets picked off. Nicely done there by Crown, but does he have enough to hold on? The Cyclone goes down as well.
Oh no, my days, and this is a fantastic push for Crown. These Reapers still alive too. Like, there's some mines thrown on those stacked SCVs actually, but 7 workers being taken out light, but the real story is the tank and the Cyclone.
Oh, exactly. The tank, the Cyclone, the workers, pulling him out of position, the fact that he was able to clean up the Liberator across the map, beautifully done here by Crown. Now he is well ahead in workers. He's a little bit behind when it comes to the CC, but honestly not too much.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, we haven't actually seen, I'm predicting mech from Smile just because he's got 4 gases.
True.
He's still on 111, but he's going dual Viking, and he's not really, researching with that barracks tech lab. But do you think that there's any inkling that Crown has that that's what's going to be the case here? Because there's no extra factories he's seen.
Yeah, he hasn't seen any yet, as he's going for a little bit more harass. This is so risky. Oh my god, just barely he's able to avoid the Vikings. But because of the Vikings, I think this Raven will be a little bit forfeit. There we go, both auto turrets get thrown down, and feels bad, man.
Yeah. That's actually very risky. I'm not sure if it's when you're vying for map control in a matchup like this, I'm not sure if that was all that worth it. But we see he's going into a reactor on the start point now, but I guess he's just focusing on ground more, and maybe he's got a different plan of how attack compared to last game, because we saw Crown tried to vie for air control, but in the end he lost it, and then Smile just kind of took the game. So curious to see his game plan this time around.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. I think the other thing that's very interesting about this game is that unlike the previous one, they didn't really open up Raven. Obviously Crown made one, but that is it. They are completely switching things up when it comes to their starport production. So because of that, there aren't really going to be too many when it comes to spellcasters. There is one Raven here with the army, and that's pretty crucial, but at the same time, like, Smile has the Vikings. You have to be so careful with this Raven.
Yeah, the Raven can even get a nice disable off on the tank if there's 1 or 2, but if you look at the tank count of Smile, he's actually got like 6 of them already. Oh my days, and you're gonna see this 3rd base go down. Still not sure if he knows this mech. You would probably know now once you he's seen that many tanks. And Crown would not want to lose these tanks, but he's not on siege. Oh shit.
Yeah, he unsieges a little bit too late, loses one of his many tanks, or one of 2 tanks, I should say. Decent positioning here with the Raven. He does keep it alive. He still is storing, saving up that energy, and he's actually looking to. Oh, okay. He was reinforcing, but he turns around. Never mind. Oh.
Yeah, one thing to notice, the moment he kind of recognized that there's no really Vikings here and only like 1 or 2 tanks, he started up 2 Liberators, so he knows he's got the air control advantage, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if Smile actually went for some sort of timing attack here, because the army of Crown, it's not looking all that bolsterous, and there's so many tanks in the field. Like there's 7 tanks.
Yeah, 7 versus...
And there's 2 coming at a time.
7 versus 1, mate. There's 1 tank remaining here for Crown, and he doesn't have any more in production. He's just been using his factory as just an add-on, just an add-on slave. I'm terrified. I don't know how this is gonna work out for him. Obviously, his army is gonna be more mobile, and he can go for these drops. Don't get me wrong, but there are Vikings in position to stop those drops.
Yeah, exactly. And we see you're not really going to get much success on the ground either. Look how choky this third base is. You know, there's 2 pathways in, but the defending player can just kind of, even with these depots kind of like reducing surface area too, but we see Crown, he feels like he's forced to do something with these Vikings in the main. I'm not sure how this is going to work out.
It's not going to work out. This gets spotted by the Liberator, by the way. The Liberator does spot this barely. Drop is on the way. Vikings are still here being patrolled. Oh my god. Is he going to commit? Is he just going to YOLO and boost in? Oh god. Not like this. He goes for it. Oh.
There we go, gets in the main. I would like to see some disables go down on those Vikings actually, but now he's got these units here, and there's no way they're escaping because there's so many Vikings, these medevacs, and with these tanks too, he can maybe trade light, but I don't know how much damage he's going to get done.
Yeah,
here.
He gets 2 tanks. Now the Vikings are going to land on the tanks of Crown. He's going to lose everything here. As you said, there is no way out. He does deal a lot of economic damage, but I just worry about the counterattack. Once Smile cleans this up, he should be going across the map. Should.
Yeah, he certainly should. We see the third base is kind of exposed for Smile because he's pulled so much back, and this is the time where you want to be pushed, like poking and prodding and looking for, any extra damage, any kind of sneak your way in to get these tanks. But he's just kind of chilling at home, and Crown instead he's going to be securing a 4th base, so he's getting a 5th on the way as well. He's playing the more passive route this game.
Yeah, I do think that Smile is missing an opportunity, and I think maybe Crown is playing the player here. Like, even though he honestly doesn't really have a lot at home to defend, maybe Smile just isn't comfortable like that. Maybe when he plays TvT, he is more of like the turtling mech player that we saw in game 1, and despite having an advantage, he's just chilling here at home.
Yeah, 4th base actually. This is actually the worst 4th time. He's going to lose it, I think, with his Stim Marines and SUVs as well. And that's the risk you take trying to sneak a base out before you establish the position. Good tank position, however. And will he be able to save it here live?
Oh god, it looks
like he will.
Yeah, he barely will be able to save it. Crown will be able to escape though, getting a lot of SCV kills, and oh boy, we have a game on our hands, and things are slowly stabilizing between our 2 players, and this time, again, with a much bigger map to work with, Crown is getting a much greater economic advantage.
Yeah, that's right. One thing we have to look at, compared to the last map, like, Curious is there's very few bases, and it's kind of, it's mostly like the first few bases are easy to secure. This map, 2000 Atmospheres, is the same. There's a lot of choke points to secure the first 4 bases. But once you start expanding out of your comfort zone, you stretch your mech line more and more. And Bio is so mobile, it can just like jump on and break.
Oh yeah.
The back there.
That's the idea, and because Crown has so much economy to work with, his army is that much larger, and he has his force here on the left hand side. He also has an army on the right as well to try and again pull his opponent apart, and these tanks are a little bit exposed. Where are those Vikings? They're protecting the main but not the third. He's going for it.
Oh no, there's nothing, not even turrets, and he's going to get on top of these tanks. Extra tanks coming as well, but Bio just trades so well in this kind of stage light, and he's even got concussive down that tank, and he can't really do much to push this back. He's just going to kill so many tanks.
Man, he just killed like 7 tanks. He just killed, oh my god, that was insane. He basically cut the tank count in half. At the same time, Crown was thinking about pushing in, but no, okay, enough tanks were left here to defend the fresh 4th base. But regardless, that was a brilliant trade by Crown.
Yeah, I do have to say, very smart by Smile to kind of scan outside his fourth base on the opposite side, seeing that bio. That tells him he can't really move out. But now if we just look at the snowball here, like these Marauders are just gonna be so effective. But he's gonna be pushed back. But we're jumping on the top as well, and he breaks the tank line.
Yeah, exactly. The tanks, well, they were all picked up. They were all moved over to the right-hand side. This place was left completely exposed. Looks like the planetary will survive. But again, like, Smile is really struggling to hold on to his bases.
Yeah, that's the problem. You don't have the sense of how you have to be mega careful. And meanwhile, while Smile's being so defensive with his posture, we just see, another base being landed for Crown and another base finished as well. And he's just going full macro mode at the moment. Like, so many Marauders and bio just being made. And we've got extra CCs as well. He's going nuts.
Yeah, the base count is absolutely insane here for Crown. Hopefully he's also going to have a bunch of mules. He can get a larger army supply as well, giving up some SCVs. There is a little bit of a lull because he wasn't able to replenish his army as quickly as he would have liked. So honestly, it looks like maybe Smile is going to be able to fortify his bases. This left-hand base, though, is looking a little bit exposed. There's only 2 tanks here. And uh-oh.
Yeah, and fortunately it looks like Crown's going to back off at least until he can heal up his bio a bit more. Both players scanning the situation. Smile maybe going to reinforce, maybe send some units over. He's going to actually send out a Hellion run by, and this is kind of smart because you see his units on the left and the right, but there's nothing really in the middle, and you can dodge his watchtower as well.
Oh, I love it. He kind of snakes his way through that center of the map. Gonna rock up here and maybe even get into one of the bases, but there are reinforcements on, never mind.
Oh, yeah, no.
Crowd, he was ready for it. He knew, despite not seeing it at all. And there we go. The Hellions are gonna. Crown? Buddy?
Oh!
Crowd, please!
Well, that's... Yeah, didn't expect that. And he's going to deny some mining time, but the problem was, like Crown, he's got so many options available to him. We have a Liberator on the left side as well, but every time Smile focuses on something, he needs to make sure he doesn't get jumped on. And you see his scans kind of making sure to keep tabs on his opponent's army, and I'm really like the position from compared to game 1 here for Crown, but
yeah, it's looking much
look, another
better
Hellion run by on the same path.
Hellion run by is going to get in, and this time it's going to be dealing some damage. This time the reinforcements aren't waiting outside the natural base. So here we go. SCVs falling left and right. And again, this is all just buying Smile some time, like some breathing room. Now he doesn't have to worry about these constant drops and these constant pushes, but oh.
Sorry, I thought he was going to... Oh, he's going to get this!
Oh, no!
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. What if I won?
Light, I have a complaint. Why do Blue Flame Hellions not 2-shot SCVs, but they 2-shot drones and probes?
Because drones and probes are I don't know, because racism. Okay.
Regen. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. 18 SCVs going down. The Smile's playing really fantastic with his harass here. If we look, Crown's only gone down to 51 workers, and normally it's not really the greatest thing because he's got mules. But if you're not careful with your management, that can sneak up on you, and you can find yourself in a poor position after taking your trade.
True, but mate, I also look at this army. Look how many Marauders there are. There's 42 Marauders. That's a beefy army, mate. We'll see if he can break through because there's 18 tanks that's going to be beating him. Going through the front line probably is not the way to go. At the same time, another Hellion run by. Oh my God, Smile! He's still just getting so much done. And Crown has to make something happen. He's been maxed out for a while now. For the past like 2 minutes, he's been stuck here with 200 supply, and he just hasn't been able to do anything with it. He just can't find a way in.
Yeah, this is the kind of point they have. I feel like Crown, he's maxed out, but he doesn't really necessarily need to jump in because the next base that Smile's going to take is going to be hard to take, but he's going to go now. Actually, like, the drop's coming in too, and I'm not sure about this attack.
Mate, he goes into the most fortified position here that Smile has into the depth of all these tanks, and he will trade, but he loses everything here. This was an awful fight.
Yeah, no, this is not great at all, and this is kind of exactly what Smile wanted him to do, I'd say. And we see straight away, he's moving out, like, he's feeling comfortable, and this is the problem. He's got barely any army to stop these tanks and force them to siege. They're going to be in his doorstep very soon.
Mate, Crown had so much potential. I was like, he can push it anywhere other than here. This is literally where every single tank is sieged up and we have every single Viking. Crown scans, he's like, I got this. And then he's like, then he loses everything. It's like, oh my god, mate. Literally the worst place. And just like that, Crown, he plummeted over 100 supply. And now we have the counterattack, and now there is an army to deal with this, but I don't know if he has enough, man.
I feel like Crown pretty much has air control if he gets another couple of Vikings out. And with the Liberators, he can push these tanks back. But the problem is, just looking at the supply line, like it's a rough position. He's got so many bases. These orbitals have been stacking energies, mulling now, but that's, would have been more useful earlier on. And all it getting taken out, I think that you're right, like, this could be the beginning of the end.
It's the end of the beginning of the end was the fight outside the natural base, mate. Oh, God. Here we go, Crown. He's stimming on forward. He's going to try and break this position. He's going to get on top of some of these tanks, He's trading. He's trading as best he can, but he's going to still lose everything here in the process.
Yeah, he's trading, but as you said, he's down 30 workers as well at this point. He's lost his extra orbitals, and GG. Smile will take game number 2.
And that's the series, mate.
That's the series, yeah.
GG, well played. Smile with a beautiful defensive position here. Defensive style, game 1 and game 2. Here in game 2, Crown was doing so well, but it did look like he got really impatient. It looked like we've seen it before. I'm sure I've done it. You've done it. Plenty of people have done it. Where you're getting constantly harassed and you're just getting more and more agitated. You're like, oh my, I just want to fight. I've been 200 supply for like the past minute. I want to do something, and he's feeling angsty. And he's like, screw it, let's go, let's just ape it up. He just stims up the ramp. It's like, I would have appreciated this in any other place, the 3rd, the 4th base, not up the ramp. Feels bad, man. Patience is a virtue.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think there's also a bit of experience too. He might have read the game state and felt like that influenced his decision, because when you're maxed out with bio, the mech player army is always better than a maxed out bio army, so he probably felt pressured to get something done before Smile teched up and got a fully like maxed out mech army. And even if he split his units a little bit better, some Marauders forward first and just split his units once he got top of the ramp. But as you said, it was just not the fight to take. And Smile, even though he didn't have the strongest kind of army after that, he just moved out straight away and got on top of the production, and Crown was he couldn't deal with the forces at least efficiently enough, especially after losing so many SCVs. Wow, good harass by Smile.
Yeah, really well done there by Smile, just getting into the mental state of his opponent with all these run-bys, with the Hellion run-bys, with the Liberators as well. GG, well played, really smart, showing off his experience, and he will move on to the grand finals. Well done. But we will not yet say goodbye to our semi-finalists, because next up we have our 3rd place match. It's going to be our 3rd place match and then the grand finals.